friends, welcome to another edition of Scrapbooking in Belize. I'm Dawn, and today I decided to formally introduce myself to you on this backdrop of this beautiful morning here in Belize. Today we'll be doing a review, and I hope you enjoy it. Hi again. I already previously filmed another video on card tutorials. But the funny thing was that the cards that I made was for my Etsy store, and I can't seem to figure out how to open it. The Etsy store, that is, because Etsy is based in more developed countries and none of them is Belize, and I do not have a bank account in the United Kingdom, the United States. I believe they're also in Canada. I don't have a bank account in those countries, and because I don't have a bank account in those countries, I do have PayPal, but I can't figure out how to do it. So what I did was that I reserved that video for some time later when I can figure out how to open the Etsy store or figure out how to open an online store, which is what I really want to do. So until then, we're stuck with this review. So today I decided to do a review on this paper pad here. And what makes this paper pad so special is because it's black paper. Now, artists are very excited when they get to see tone paper. And one of the papers that I found here at my local craft store, the stationery house, is this, which is called a chalk pad. It's made by Pacon. It's supposed to be a sulfite heavyweight paper pad, and I originally got it to work with my pastels. I have these pastels here from Sargent, and they're chalk pastels. So I got this paper pad originally to work with those, and I know it can handle them beautifully. As you can see here, I did some swatches. Of course, as we all know, with pastels, it's a little messy, so you have to be careful with it. I did do some artwork with it, and it did hold up the pastel wonderfully. But I am a card maker, and I do have other mediums other than pastels. And when I got stuck with that previous video, I said, you know what other mediums can this paper pad withstand? And so I took out some of my mediums that I would use regularly in card making and illustration, and I tried to be careful to choose only those mediums that I figure more or less would show up on black paper. So I'm not putting the alcohol-based markers as a part of this review. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I did it. As you can see, I've already done the swatches, and let me tell you a little about this paper pad. There is a bit of tooth to it. It's not really smooth, and the tooth is not really a patterny kind of teething. It's actually a very grainy kind of teething to this paper pad. And one of my biggest fear is because the tooth is kind of grainy, that it will feather very easily with other mediums. So the first mediums that I tried were my white mediums and my pens, and I did use my correction pen. I think that's a little cheat in there. But the reason why I use my correction pen, as you can see, that the two white gel pens that I own doesn't really show up very bright at all. The brightest one is this one, and I don't know, it's not as white as I really want it to be. The other pens that I tried out here, I tried out my pink gel pen to see how that will show up, and you guys can barely see that. So you know this doesn't really work on this paper. I also tried this pink gel pen here, and I know it does look like something just disappeared, so you don't even know that I have swatched there. And I tried this pink gel pen here, which should be very opaque and you can barely see it, and that's good. And I also tried these two gel pens. They are from Pilot G1. They're both in they're in silver and gold, and this is how the gold looks, and this is how the silver is. So these work on this as well as this, and this. The others don't. Now, we all know that colored pencils are supposed to show up wonderfully on black paper. But one of the things I was looking at to see if the colored pencil would have tear this paper, because again, I'm concerned about the graininess, and will it feather it? And the first pencil I tried was my pastel pencil by Pointer, and I did expect it to show up well on this because it is a pastel pencil, and if the chalk pastel showed up beautiful on this, then this will have no problem. The other one I used was my Milan Aquarelle, which is here. This is the Milan Big Lead. This one is the Marco Raffine, and this one is the Crayola, and you're seeing the Crayola much more than the other three colors above it, and I was not expecting that the Crayola would show up brighter on this paper than my other three. I didn't expect it to be the pastel though. Now let's go into the watercolors. Now I am trying 3 different types of watercolor paints that I have here that I would expect to show up on black. And those 3 are Stylex, Artist Loft, and my Gansai Tambi Starry colors. And this is how they look. The first one we're looking at here is the Stylex, and I only swatched out 6 of these 12 colors, including its white. So this is how the white looks, this is how the red looks, this is how its yellow looked. I did swatched out a dark blue to see how dark colors will show up on this paper, the light blue shade that it has here, and a light brown shade, or yeah, this is the light brown shade here, to see how it'll show up on this paper. The other one that I swatched out is from the Artist Loft, and as we all know, Artist Loft is very, 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 very opaque. It's a very opaque watercolor, and the colors that I tried is it's white. As you can see, it's extremely opaque. It's even more opaque than my Stylex. It's yellow, which is also more opaque than the Stylex. It's red, which actually showed up like a bright pink than the red here. The dark blue, this is the lightest blue here, and I don't know, it kind of looks like it's gouache or something, and this is its brown. And the last one is all 6 colors in the Gansai Tambi Starry colors, and these are how it's swatched up on black beautifully. I enjoy using it. I love it. The one critique I'll have is the paper didn't tear, it just buckled a little bit, but maybe that could be due to the amount of water I was using. I was using this big brush, which does hold a lot of water, so the buckling could be due to the amount of water. I believe if I was using a brush that hold minimal water and more paint, it wouldn't have buckled as much. And that's it. I think I will probably use this paper in other mediums, especially with the starry colors from Gansai Tambi. I probably will now have a newfound love for my Artist Loft, because I didn't love them at all because of the chalkiness. But now that I see how bright it shows up on this paper, I probably might use more artworks with this paper, with the Artist Loft paper, with the Artist Loft watercolor, and the pens and pencils. I didn't know that the pastel is going to work, so I know that I could use this paper with pastels. It did say exactly what it's supposed to be. It is a heavyweight solidified chalk pad, and I know now I don't have to be exclusive with this chalk paper. I could use it with my other mediums. That's it. Thank you so much, and join me next time for another edition of Scrapbooking in Belize. Bye.